Okay, so this is a 2015 Ford Expedition Limited, and I'm working on upgrading the Sync2 to a Sync3, and I was looking around on how to get this panel out and didn't really find any videos, so I'm going to just shoot some videos so folks know. So there's a little panel down below here on the console that comes off. You have to snap it off with some, some tools, some plastic tools. Once you get that off, there's two bolts down here. There's one here and one here. Take those bolts out, and then we should be able to pop this whole panel out so we can access the Sync2 and replace it with the Sync3. So we're going to try that now. So I found a lot of other videos that start by taking the speaker out the top, but in the 2015 Expedition you don't need to do that. So I have it out. It really made no difference at all, but it's really easy to put back in. But in case you come across this and you've seen other videos where they take that out, you don't need to do that. Okay, so I'm able to get the panel off. You can see there's 6 orange tabs there that have to snap out for you to get that whole panel off, and now we can access the Sync2. There's only one connector to this panel, so we're going to disconnect that and get this out of the way. All right, it looks like there's 4 bolts we're going to have to take out here. 1, 2, 3, 4, and then hopefully this just slides up out from behind here. Let me try it and see if it works. Okay, so it looks like these little posts are attached to this bracket on the Sync2. So I'm going to take out these other 2 that are holding this CD player, and I'll pull that out enough to get these little tabs out of there so we can pull out the screen. Okay, so that worked. Now I just have these 2 connectors to take off, and yeah, we'll do that and then see what we can do here. Okay, so the old Sync2 had these brackets on it that you need to take off and put on the new Sync3. So they have kind of a real special small kind of torque. Let's see it down, see if I can get it to focus. Very small torque. So you need to have that available to get this thing off, at least in mine I did. Alright, so I've got them back in there. I'm going to try and put the panel back on and check it out, see if everything's working okay. Okay, so Android Auto came on. Try and get it here so that it's not reflecting. And everything looks pretty good there. I can go in and see what apps I've got going on. You can go back to the regular thing. If I want to get back to the Ford Sync3, I can do that. And there's a little Android Auto button down here now. So yeah, so that looks pretty good. All right, so one other thing I was going to say is I had to take off this cover for the compartment here so I could get my elbows in and get some leverage on this USB port thing. It was so hard to get out of there, and I just kept hitting my elbow on it. So that's only got 4 bolts on it. I'm going to put that back on now. Everything should be good, and I'll pop that guy in. And yeah, we should be good. This has got USB and USB-C on it, so that's kind of nice. So everything's working fine. The only issue I have is under climate in this particular car. I don't have the engine running right now. Here, let me turn the engine on. So in this particular car, I have rear climate controls typically. So on the Sync2, I had a whole set of rear climate controls, and there's no rear climate controls down here. So there are some in the back, but because the Sync2 basically tells you have to enable the manual controls in the back, I did not enable those before I took the Sync2 out. So right now I don't have my rear controls. I can't change the temperature and the fan speed for the back seat. So I'm basically going to be working with the ForScan software. I've got my connector there and the computer. I'm going to try and figure out what I need to change to get those to show up. Stand by and we'll see how that goes. Okay, so I have this ForScan software installed. I'm running it. and it's connected to the OBD2 port down below down there. This cable came with the Sync3 kit that I bought. So there's a setting inside this APIM module that you can twizzle to get the right climate control things to come up. But until I get an extended license, it's going to tell me that I need an extended license to actually see what's inside that particular module. So I'm waiting for that. As soon as I get that, we'll run this and see what we have. Okay, I'm going to show you how to get the rear controls back on the Sync3. So I've got them back on there, but what you're going to run, like I said, you have this ForScan program, right? We're going to connect to the car. Okay, hit yes. Yes. Okay, so it's connected. So we'll go into here, and there's some ways that you can change the as-built format so that they show up. And I tried that yesterday, but I was only able to get the rear. I was able to get the rear controls to show up, but my seat controls went away. So today what I did is the other way that you can do it is just to go into this module. So module configuration, APIM module configuration, hit run, and say okay, and it's going to show you all the things that are enabled on the Sync3. So there's a big long list of things here. So what I needed to do first was get the rear climate control showing. So there's rear climate control type. So if I were to double click this, manual with airflow, automatic panel. Oh, this is not the one I want. Sorry, I want this one, rear climate control. Right. So basically, you just need to enable this here. Once you can click, you can decide with either one, make it enabled. The other thing that I did yesterday when I did the as-built configuration, I lost my seat controls. So while I was in here too, I did the seat button icons, made sure that they were on for heated and ventilated seats. Okay, so that's one way you can do it. And once you're done setting those, or whatever you want to set in here, you can write this out. So let's do this. I'll show you how to get rid of this. So if I disable this, disabled, and I save it, and you'll see that I currently have rear on my climate. But I'm going to write this and restart things and see what happens to my screen. Okay, so it wants me to cycle the engine on and off. So let's do that. Get everything turned off. It's kind of shutting down. Okay, so we'll see it shut down eventually here. I don't know what it's doing. There we go. Okay, now let me just hit the aux power again, and we should see it boot up. And when I go into the climate, it should disappear, but I could be wrong. Let's just check. I haven't done this yet, but we'll see what happens. Okay, when I go to climate, yeah, see, so the rear went away. So what I'm going to do is I'll just set it back. I'll enable it again, and we'll just redo that process. Enabled. I'll write it. Okay. Turn off the car again. For some reason I have to open my door for it to actually fully shut down. You may have the same issue. It looks like it's just kind of loading again as it shuts down. So let's let this thing finish. Come on, you can do it. Okay. Now we'll go back to auxiliary power. Brings it back up. Let's go back into climate. All right, and there you go. Rear is back. Okay, so that's how you can kind of set these things on sync. I think if you lose power to the sync, like if the battery's disconnected, you may end up losing these particular settings because it's going to load probably from the as-built settings, but I'm not sure about that. But anyway, this is the easiest way to do it. All right, let me do one more final quick video here so you'll see that this is sort of what it looks like when you have everything set up and the engine running. If I hit rear, it's going to give me the rear controls. I can adjust the fan and everything back here, and then you just close it up. One thing that's happening, and I don't know quite how to fix that yet, is that this dual button looks like it's on, but if you look at the manual button, it's not on. Right? And if I hit the manual button to turn it on to dual, then this button turns off. So they're kind of out of sync. I'm not sure why, and I'm not sure how to fix that. Same thing's happening on the rear. So if I look at the rear and I try and lock the rear controls, that actually unlocks the rear controls, and you can see that I can't control it here anymore. So maybe this really means that I've locked it at this point, but it's just kind of counterintuitive. Anyway, that's it. So it's all working nicely. Looks pretty good.